Be the bigger person, my mother-in-law said, stirring her tea with the kind of deliberate precision that made even the smallest gesture feel like a threat. After all, Christmas is about family, and Ella was family long before you came along. I'm Willow, and this is how I learned that my husband's ex-girlfriend would be joining us for Christmas dinner. The worst part wasn't the request itself. It was how they framed it, like I was being awarded some sort of test, a chance to prove my worth to the almighty Rivera clan. Tricia sat in my kitchen, in my home, telling me how gracious and mature I would appear if I welcomed the woman who had tried to destroy my engagement. "Mom, please," Emiliano interrupted, but his protest was weak. He stood by the counter, avoiding my eyes. "Maybe we should—" "No, your mother's right," I said, surprising them both. It would be petty to refuse. Tricia's perfectly lined lips curved into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I knew you'd understand, dear. Ella's going through such a difficult time since her breakup, and she's always been so close with the family." Close was an understatement. I remembered the late-night texts, the accidental run-ins at our favorite restaurants, the way she'd show up at family events wearing the perfume Emiliano had once bought her. But I smiled back, channeling every ounce of composure I'd learned as a school counselor. "Of course she should come," I said. "I'll prepare the guest room myself." Later that evening, Emiliano found me folding fresh linens. He wrapped his arms around my waist, pressing a kiss to my neck. "Thank you for being so understanding. Mom's just, you know how she gets about traditions." I turned to face him. "Remember when Ella showed up at our engagement party wearing white?" He stiffened. "That was 2 years ago, Willow. She apologized." "No, she didn't. Your mother apologized for her." I kept my voice level. "Just like she apologized when Ella sent you those midnight texts about still being in love with you." "That's not fair. She was going through a rough patch then." "And now?" He stepped back, running a hand through his hair, his tell when he's uncomfortable. "Now she's just a friend who needs support. This is your chance to show everyone you're secure in our marriage." I watched him, this man I loved, parroting his mother's manipulation like a well-trained parrot. "You're right," I said softly. "It's exactly my chance." My phone buzzed, Chloe calling. I let it go to voicemail, knowing she'd lose it when I told her about this latest development. Instead, I opened my laptop and began typing an email to my therapist, requesting an urgent session. The doorbell rang. Emiliano went to answer it, and I heard Stacy's voice floating up the stairs. "Mom wanted me to drop off Ella's favorite wine. You know, the one from that vineyard you two visited in Tuscany?" I closed my eyes, counted to 10, and opened them again. Two could play at this game of sophisticated warfare. I'd been the bigger person for 2 years, smiling through the snide comments about my modest background, tolerating the constant reminiscing about Ella's accomplishments, swallowing my pride every time Tricia displayed photos of Emiliano's first love in their family home. But something inside me had snapped. Maybe it was the casual cruelty of the request, or maybe it was the way they all assumed I'd roll over and take it. Either way, I was done being the bigger person. It was time to be the smarter one. I pulled out my phone and texted Chloe. "Remember those emails I saved? Time to put them to use." Her response was immediate. "Girl, no. Don't start a war at Christmas." I smiled, thinking of the flash drive hidden in my desk drawer, filled with 2 years' worth of evidence. Screenshots, emails, timestamps of suspicious meetings, all carefully cataloged and waiting for the right moment. "Not starting a war," I typed back. "Just finally fighting back." Downstairs, I could hear Emiliano and Stacy laughing about some shared memory involving Ella. The sound echoed through our house, my house, like a challenge. Fine. They wanted me to host Christmas? I'd give them a holiday they'd never forget. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold. It's served with a smile, perfect table settings, and irrefutable evidence. I opened my calendar and began planning. 5 days until Christmas Eve. 5 days to orchestrate the perfect unwrapping of truth. And unlike Ella, I wouldn't need to wear white to steal the show. The guest room looked perfect. Too perfect. I stepped back to admire my handiwork. Crisp white sheets, fresh flowers, and strategically placed photos that told a very specific story. Our wedding portrait hung directly across from the bed, impossible to miss. On the dresser, a carefully curated collection of vacation snapshots showed Emiliano and me in our happiest moments. "You're evil," Chloe said, sprawled across the guest bed. "Absolutely evil. I love it. Just being a thoughtful hostess." I adjusted the frame containing a photo of Emiliano proposing to me, making sure our guest feels at home. Speaking of feeling at home, Chloe sat up, her expression turning serious. "Are you sure about this? The emails, I mean. That's nuclear-level stuff." I walked to my office across the hall, Chloe following. Opening my laptop, I pulled up the folder I'd labeled Insurance. 2 years of documented correspondence between Emiliano and Ella, secretly forwarded to my email through an app I'd installed during our rough patch. "Listen to this one," I said, clicking on a recent email. "Missing our talks. The gallery isn't the same without you. He misses you too, even if he won't say it." "When was that?" 3 months ago, while I was at my grandmother's funeral." Chloe whistled low. "Okay, that's messed up. Does Emiliano know you have these?" "No, but his mother's about to." I started printing selected emails. Just a few choice pieces. Wouldn't want to overwhelm anyone during the holidays. The doorbell rang, making us both jump. Through the window, I spotted a delivery truck. "Perfect timing," I said, heading downstairs. The delivery man struggled with a large box. "Special delivery for Willow?" I signed for it, trying to contain my smile. Inside were 12 crystal champagne flutes, each engraved with a different month and year, marking significant dates in Emiliano's and my relationship. "These must have cost a fortune," Chloe said, examining one. "Worth every penny. We'll use them for the Christmas Eve toast." I held up the flute marked March 2021. "This one's from when we started couples therapy. And this," I picked up September 2022, "marks the night Emiliano missed our anniversary dinner because he was working late." Funny how there's a photo of him and Ella at that new wine bar from the same night. "You're not just dropping receipts," Chloe realized. "You're creating a timeline." The front door opened, and Emiliano's voice carried up the stairs. "Willow, you home?" I quickly packed away the glasses. "Up here." He appeared in the doorway looking nervous. "Mom wants to know if we're still doing the family slideshow on Christmas Eve." "Wouldn't miss it for the world," I said sweetly. "I'm putting together something special." "Great." He hesitated. "Listen, about Ella coming." "I've got everything under control," I assured him. "The guest room's ready and everything." He glanced inside, his face falling slightly at the photo display. "Don't you think that's a bit much?" "What's much?" I stepped closer. "The photos of us? In our home? Should I take them down to make your ex more comfortable?" "That's not what He sighed. "Never mind. Thank you for being so accommodating." After he left, Chloe grabbed my arm. "Girl, he knows something's up." "Good." I pulled out my phone and opened a video, security camera footage from our front porch, showing Emiliano and Ella in an intimate conversation just last month. "Let him sweat." "Where did you get that?" "Ring doorbell. Amazing what these things capture." I tucked the phone away. "Now help me wrap these party favors. Each guest gets a special memory to take home." We spent the next hour preparing small gift boxes, each containing a carefully chosen piece of evidence wrapped in festive paper. By the time we finished, the sun was setting. "Last chance to back out," Chloe said at the door. "You could just not do this. Take the high road." I thought about all the family dinners where I'd been subtly undermined, all the times Ella's name had been casually dropped into conversation, all the ways they tried to make me feel like an outsider in my own marriage. The high road led me here, I said. Sometimes you have to get your hands dirty to clean house. After Chloe left, I stood in the guest room one last time. The wedding photos seemed to mock me now. All those promises, all that hope. I touched my wedding ring, thinking about the choice ahead of me. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about respect. My phone buzzed with a text from Trisha. Ella's so excited for Christmas Eve. Thank you for being mature about this. I smiled, thinking of the champagne flutes hidden away, each one a bullet in my loaded gun. Wouldn't miss it for the world, I texted back. Some things are worth celebrating properly. The Rivera family arrived like a well-dressed hurricane. Trisha swept through my front door first, her critical gaze already cataloging imperfections. Interesting choice of decorations, she said, eyeing my minimalist Christmas display. Very modern. Though I missed the traditional touches Ella used to do when she helped with family gatherings. Before I could respond, Stacy breezed in, arms full of additional decorations. Mom thought you might need these, to warm the place up a bit. I accepted the box with a practiced smile. How thoughtful. I'll add them to my collection. Fred shuffled in next, followed by Marlo, who immediately gave me a genuine hug. I love what you've done with the place, Aunt Willow. It looks like a magazine. Thanks, sweetie. Want to help me finish setting up? She needs to help me in the kitchen, Trisha interrupted. Family recipe tradition. The doorbell rang again. My stomach tightened as Emiliano rushed to answer it. Ella stood in the doorway like a Christmas angel, all golden hair and designer wool coat. "Em!" she exclaimed, pulling him into a hug that lasted several beats too long. Her hand lingered on his shoulder as she pulled away. "Ella, darling," Trisha rushed forward to embrace her. "You look absolutely radiant." I cleared my throat. "Welcome to our home. Let me show you to your room." Ella's eyes widened slightly at the photo gallery in the guest room, but her smile never wavered. "How lovely, though I hope these won't keep me up at night." "Oh, I'm sure you're used to sleeping with our memories around," I said sweetly. During dinner, I watched Ella hold court at my table. She regaled everyone with stories of her recent gallery opening, carefully dropping names that made Trisha beam with pride. "Remember that gallery in Rome, Em?" she asked, touching his arm. "The one where we almost—" "Who's ready for wine?" I interrupted, standing up. As I reached for the bottle, I accidentally knocked over my purse. Papers scattered across the floor. "Oh, let me help," Ella offered, bending down. She froze, staring at one particular page that had landed face up. An email dated 3 months ago, with her name clearly visible in the sender field. Our eyes met. Understanding dawned on her face. "Everything okay?" Emiliano asked. "Just perfect," I said, snatching up the papers, though some things are harder to clean up than others. Later, as everyone gathered in the living room, Uncle Reggie arrived, already 3 drinks deep. "Where's my favorite almost niece?" he boomed, hugging Ella. "Still breaking hearts and taking names?" "Reggie," Trisha warned. "What? Just saying what everyone's thinking. Remember when we all thought you and Em would—" "Who wants dessert?" Stacy cut in quickly. I served coffee and pie, watching Ella whisper something to Emiliano when she thought no one was looking. He shook his head slightly, glancing nervously in my direction. Marlo sidled up to me in the kitchen. "Are you okay, Aunt Willow? You seem different." "Just focused on being a good hostess," I replied, squeezing her shoulder. "Mom says you're trying too hard," she confided. "But I think you're really brave." "Brave?" "Yeah, having her here, after everything." I looked at her sharply. "What do you mean?" "I saw them, Uncle Em and Ella, at the art show last month. Mom said not to tell you." My hand tightened on the coffee pot. "Did she now?" Back in the living room, Ella was showing everyone photos on her phone. "Oh, this series was inspired by past loves," she explained, "the way they never really leave us." "Speaking of past loves," I said, "would anyone like to see the slideshow I'm preparing for Christmas Eve? I'd love some feedback. Now? Emiliano asked too quickly. Just a preview. I connected my laptop to the TV. I'm calling it A Year of Truth. The first few photos were innocent enough, family gatherings, holiday moments. Then came a shot from our therapy session waiting room, Emiliano's face clearly unhappy. Oh dear, how did that get in there? I said. Technical difficulties, like those texts that keep accidentally sending at midnight. Ella stood abruptly. I should get some air. I'll come with you, Emiliano said. Actually, I called after them, could you both help me with something in the kitchen first, since you're so good at keeping secrets together? Dead silence fell over the room. Trisha's face turned stormy. Fred suddenly became very interested in his coffee cup. Willow, Emiliano warned. Just a joke, I said brightly. You know me, always trying to be the bigger person. As they disappeared onto the porch, I heard Ella whisper urgently, You sure she doesn't know everything? I smiled into my coffee cup. Only 2 more days until Christmas Eve, and I was just getting started. Let's play Trivial Pursuit, Stacy announced, pulling out the board game. Family tradition, remember? Actually, I said, retrieving a different box, I thought we could try this new game. It's called Truth or Consequences. Emiliano shot me a warning look. Maybe we should stick to tradition. Oh, but this one's so interesting, I continued, opening the box. You draw cards and answer questions about relationships. Our therapist recommended it for building trust. Trisha's perfectly plucked eyebrows arched. Therapist? Didn't Emiliano tell you? We've been going to couples counseling. I'm just so committed to growth and honesty. I dealt the cards. Who wants to go first? I could use another drink first, Uncle Reggie announced, wobbling toward the bar cart. Anyone else? Speaking of drinks, he continued, pouring generously, saw you at that new wine bar downtown last month, Em. You and Ella were pretty deep in conversation. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Emiliano's glass froze halfway to his mouth. Oh? I turned to my husband. You never mentioned that, babe. It was nothing, Ella jumped in. Just ran into each other by chance. At the same bar where you used to have your date nights? I asked innocently. What a coincidence. Trisha cleared her throat. Perhaps we should start the game. Great idea, I said, drawing a card. First question, what's your biggest regret in a relationship? I'll go first. Mine would be ignoring red flags because I was trying to be understanding. Stacy shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should play charades instead. My turn, Reggie announced, swaying slightly. My biggest regret is keeping my mouth shut when I saw things I shouldn't have, like at that art exhibit 3 months ago. Uncle Reggie, Stacy warned. What? Everyone's thinking it. The way you two were huddled in that corner. He gestured between Emiliano and Ella with his drink. It was a professional consultation, Ella said quickly. At midnight? Reggie snorted. I stood up. Who needs refills? Ella, would you help me in the kitchen? She followed me reluctantly. As I reached for the wine bottle, I deliberately knocked over my phone. The screen lit up, displaying a photo of Emiliano and Ella at the gallery. Oops, I said. Looks like someone sent me some interesting pictures. Look, Ella hissed. Whatever you think you know, I know everything, I cut her off. Every text, every accidental meeting, every late-night call. The only question is, who else should know? The kitchen door swung open. Emiliano stood there looking between us. Everything okay in here? Just girl talk, I smiled. Ella was about to tell me about the art exhibit. You know, the one you forgot to mention? Willow, please, he started. Please what? Please keep pretending I don't see what's happening? Please keep playing the understanding wife while you two make me look like a fool? You're making a scene, he whispered. No, I'm making coffee. Would anyone like some? I learned this great recipe from our marriage counselor. It's called Bitter Truth. Back in the living room, Marlo was teaching Fred how to use his new phone. Look, Grandpa, you can see when messages were sent and received, even deleted ones sometimes. Fascinating, I said, setting down the coffee tray. Technology really keeps us honest these days, doesn't it? Ella excused herself to make a phone call. Through the kitchen window, I heard her voice. She's getting bold. Maybe we should tell her first. I cleared my throat loudly. She spun around, face flushing. Sorry to interrupt, I said. Just wanted to let you know we're having a special Christmas Eve dinner tomorrow. I'm preparing all of Emiliano's favorites. You know, the ones I learned to cook, not the ones you used to make. Willow, she started. I know this is awkward. Awkward? I laughed. No, awkward was watching you flirt with my husband at our wedding. This is something else entirely. We have history, she said defensively. And I have receipts, I replied. Lots of them. Want to see? The door opened again. Tricia this time. Everything all right out here? Ella, darling, you look flushed. Just discussing dinner plans for tomorrow, I said. And boundaries. You know how important those are in a healthy family dynamic. Right, Ella? She hurried back inside without answering. I stayed in the kitchen, watching through the window as my carefully laid groundwork began to crack their perfect facade. Marlo appeared beside me. I deleted that game from my phone, she said quietly. What game? Truth or Consequences. It was too real. She paused. But I saved the screenshots first. I turned to look at her. This kid was sharper than anyone gave her credit for. Smart girl, I said. Sometimes the truth needs backup. Christmas Eve arrived with a tension so thick you could cut it with a butter knife. I spent the morning setting up the projector while Tricia supervised the kitchen preparations, criticizing everything from my choice of tablecloth to the way I arranged the centerpiece. Ella always had such a flair for these things, she sighed, adjusting a flower. Such natural elegance. Must be why she's so good at arranging secret meetings, I muttered under my breath. What was that, dear? I said I'm excited about tonight's presentation. The family gathered in the living room after dinner, everyone slightly tipsy from Reggie's spiked eggnog. I stood by the projector, remote in hand, heart pounding. Before we start, I announced, I'd like to make a toast. I distributed the engraved champagne flutes, watching Emiliano's face as he read the dates. March 2021? Stacy frowned at her glass. What's special about that? Our first couples therapy session, I said brightly, where we discussed the importance of honesty in marriage. Emiliano nearly choked on his champagne. And now, I continued, a special presentation I call A Year of Growth and Truth. The first slides were innocent enough. Holiday photos, family gatherings. Then came the therapy waiting room photo. Oh, how did that get in there? I feigned surprise. Technology, am I right? Next slide, Emiliano and me at our favorite restaurant. Then a security camera still from the same restaurant, dated 3 weeks later, showing him with Ella. Must be a glitch, I said, as gasps filled the room. Just like this next one. An email appeared on screen. Missing our late-night talks. Remember that hotel bar in Chicago? Willow, stop! Emiliano stood up. Why? I thought we were celebrating family memories. Another slide, a text message thread. Oh, look, here's one from September. He doesn't understand you like I do. That's enough, Tricia's voice cracked like a whip. Really? Because I have plenty more. Like this security footage from our front porch last month. The audio quality is surprisingly good. Ella jumped up. This is ridiculous. Em, tell her. Tell me what? I asked. About the gallery meetings, the wine bar, the late-night calls when you thought I was sleeping. You've been spying on me? Emiliano's face was red. No, I've been paying attention. There's a difference. Marlo spoke up from the corner. I saw them too, at the gallery. Marlo! Stacy snapped. Be quiet. Why? Because the truth is uncomfortable? I clicked to the next slide. More emails, more texts, more evidence. Speaking of uncomfortable, let's talk about last Christmas, when Ella showed up uninvited and you all acted like I was crazy for being upset. Fred stood up. Perhaps we should take a break. Sit down, Dad, I said firmly. The show's not over. This is completely inappropriate, Tricia declared. Ella is our guest. No, Ella is your weapon, the perfect ex you've been using to undermine me since day one. But guess what? I kept receipts. The next slide showed Tricia's text messages to Ella. Come by tonight. M misses you, even if he won't admit it. Dead silence fell over the room. Mom? Emiliano's voice was barely a whisper. I was just trying to help, Tricia said weakly. You've been so unhappy lately. Because you never gave our marriage a chance, I exploded. You were too busy orchestrating these little reunions, pushing us together at every opportunity. Ella stood up, grabbing her purse. This is insane. I'm leaving. Running away? I asked. Like you did when Emiliano chose me? How's that working out for you? You don't understand our history, she spat. No, you don't understand my present. This is my home, my marriage, and I'm done playing nice. The final slide appeared, a recent photo of Emiliano and Ella in an intimate embrace outside the wine bar. That's from last week, I said quietly, while I was planning this lovely family Christmas. Reggie whistled low. Well, damn! Willow, Emiliano reached for me. Please, let me explain. I stepped back. Explain what? How you've been lying to my face? How your mother's been playing puppet master? How everyone in this room except Marlo and Reggie has been gaslighting me for years? I think, Fred finally spoke, we should all go home and cool down. Great idea, I agreed. But first, check under your seats. Everyone gets a party favor. Inside each box is a copy of every email, text, and photo. You know, in case anyone's memory needs refreshing. Stacy burst into tears. Tricia looked like she'd swallowed glass. And Ella just stared at me with a mixture of hatred and respect. Merry Christmas, I said, raising my champagne flute, to family, truth, and consequences. Christmas morning dawned cold and quiet. I sat at the kitchen counter nursing my coffee when Tricia stormed in like a designer-clad thundercloud. We need to talk about what you did last night, she announced, uninvited and unwelcome at 7 a.m. Merry Christmas to you, too, I replied, not looking up from my mug. Do you have any idea how much damage you've caused? The embarrassment... Embarrassment? I cut her off. Like the kind you caused when you invited my husband's ex to our wedding shower? Or when you hung their prom photo in your living room for 2 years after we got married? That was different. You're right. It was subtle. Last night wasn't subtle at all. She slammed her hand on the counter. You took petty revenge at a family holiday. No, I stood up slowly. You welcomed her into our marriage long before I welcomed her into our home. The only difference is I have proof. The back door opened, and Emma, our neighbor, poked her head in. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to return your casserole dish, Willow. Perfect timing, I said. Emma, didn't you mention seeing Emiliano and Ella at that wine bar a few weeks ago? Emma's eyes darted between us. Yes. They seemed pretty intense in their conversation. Get out! Tricia snapped. After Emma scurried away, Tricia turned on me. You're poisoning everyone against us. Truth isn't poison. It's medicine. Bitter, but necessary. Footsteps on the stairs announced Emiliano's arrival. He looked like he hadn't slept. Mom, could you give us a minute? After Tricia left, he sat heavily at the counter. We need to talk about last night. Actually, I pulled an envelope from my drawer. We need to talk about this. He opened it, frowning at the contents. What's this? Intake forms for intensive couples therapy, starting January 1st. It's called a boundary audit. Willow, I'm not finished. 3 sessions a week, Full disclosure of all communication with Ella, and your mother stays out of our marriage. Those are my terms. Terms for what? For me staying. He paled. You're leaving? That depends on you, and this time I'm not asking. I'm telling. I met her once, he said quietly, just to get closure. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through photos. Once? Here's October 12th at the gallery, November 3rd at the wine bar, December 1st outside your office. Should I continue? You've been tracking me? No, other people have been seeing you, sending me evidence. Turns out I'm not the only one tired of this soap opera. His face crumpled. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. Every time you lied. Every time you let your mother manipulate us. Every time you chose her comfort over my dignity. We're not. Save it for therapy. I pushed the intake forms toward him. Sign them now, or I call my lawyer. The sound of the pen scratching paper felt like victory, and heartbreak rolled into one. When he finished, I handed him a second envelope. What's this? Evidence I didn't show last night. The nuclear option. If you ever lie to me again, if you ever meet her in secret, if your mother ever tries to interfere, this goes public. To everyone. Your firm, her gallery contacts, everyone. You're blackmailing me? I'm protecting myself. There's a difference. He stood up, running hands through his disheveled hair. I don't even recognize you anymore. Funny, I was just starting to recognize myself. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw Ella standing on our porch, makeup perfect even at this early hour. Don't, Emiliano warned as I moved to answer it. I opened the door. Forgot something last night. I need to speak with M, she said. No, you need to leave, forever. You can't control who he talks to. Watch me. I pulled out my phone. Should I send these photos to your gallery board? I hear they're very particular about their curators' reputations. She stepped back. You wouldn't. Try me. I've got nothing left to lose. Emiliano appeared behind me. Ella, go home. M, please. Go home. After she left, he turned to me. Happy now? No, I said honestly. But I'm free, and that's better than happy. I watched him climb the stairs, shoulders slumped. My phone buzzed, a text from Marlowe. Aunt Willow, can we talk? I need advice about standing up for myself. Despite everything, I smiled. Sometimes the best lessons come from the worst situations. I texted back, come over any time. I'm becoming quite the expert. The Rivera family's traditional Christmas brunch felt like a funeral where everyone was pretending the corpse wasn't on the table. Tricia mechanically passed plates of food. Fred studied his coffee like it held the secrets of the universe, and Stacy kept shooting me looks that could curdle milk. I stood up, raising my mimosa glass. I'd like to make a toast. Haven't you done enough? Stacy muttered. To boundaries, to truth, and to clarity, I continued, ignoring her. Because Christmas should feel like home, and home shouldn't have room for ghosts. If you're referring to Ella, Tricia began, I'm referring to all of it. The lies, the manipulation, the gaslighting. Speaking of which, I have an announcement. I turned to Emiliano. Want to tell them, or should I? He cleared his throat. Willow and I are starting intensive couples therapy next week. Therapy? Tricia's fork clattered against her plate. That's completely unnecessary. All families have their little what, Mom? Emiliano interrupted. Little secrets, little affairs, little betrayals. The room fell silent. I encouraged those meetings because I thought, Tricia started. You thought you knew better than my wife what I needed? He stood up. You thought undermining my marriage was helping me? Stacy pleaded, you've been unhappy. Because everyone in this family made it impossible for me to be happy. His voice cracked. Every time I tried to move forward, you all pulled me back with, remember when, and Ella used to, and tradition matters. The doorbell rang. We all knew who it was before I opened the door. Ella stood there, mascara-stained tears running down her face. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep pretending. Then don't, I said simply, letting her in. She walked straight to Emiliano. I still love you. I never stopped. And your mother said, My mother doesn't speak for me anymore. He cut her off. But all those nights, those conversations, were wrong, he said firmly. I was wrong. Tricia stood up. Ella, darling, perhaps this isn't the best time. No, it's the perfect time, I interrupted. Let's hear what Ella has to say about the late-night calls, about the secret meetings, about how you, Tricia, orchestrated this whole thing. I was trying to help, Tricia exploded. You were never right for him. You're not from our world. You don't understand our ways. Your ways? I laughed. You mean lying, manipulating, playing people like chess pieces? Mom, Emiliano's voice was deadly quiet. Get out. What? Get out, all of you, now. Stacy grabbed her purse. I can't believe you did this at Christmas. Really? I turned to her. Because I can't believe you helped your mother arrange meetings between your brother and his ex while he was married. Want me to show everyone those text messages, too? She paled, hurrying toward the door. Em, please, Ella tried one last time. What we had is over, he said. It's been over for years. I just didn't have the courage to say it. Fred finally spoke up. Son, maybe if we all just calm down? No, Dad. No more calming down. No more sweeping things under the rug. No more pretending. One by one, they filed out. Tricia paused at the door. When you realize what you've done, I'll send you a thank you note, I finished for her, for showing me exactly who you all are. After they left, Emiliano collapsed onto the couch. I'm sorry, he whispered, for everything. I know. What happens now? I sat beside him, not touching. Now we either rebuild or we end it. But whatever happens, it happens on my terms. No more ghosts in our marriage. And my family? They can either respect our boundaries or lose access to our lives. Their choice. My phone buzzed. A text from Marlo. Everyone's freaking out at Grandma's, but I get it now. Why you did it. Thank you for showing me what strength looks like. Emiliano read the text over my shoulder. At least someone understands. More will, eventually. Truth has a way of settling in. He reached for my hand. I let him take it, but we both knew things would never be the same. Sometimes breaking things is the only way to see what they're really made of. Merry Christmas, he said softly. Merry Christmas, I replied, watching the snow fall outside our window, covering everything in clean, blank white, like a fresh start, or maybe an ending. Only time would tell which. But for the first time in years, I felt truly at peace. Because sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is the courage to stop pretending. The house felt different as I packed away the Christmas decorations. Lighter somehow, despite the heavy silence between Emiliano and me. Each ornament I wrapped felt like storing away another piece of our carefully constructed facade. Leave the star, he said from the doorway. It was your grandmother's. I placed the crystal star in a separate box. You remember? I remember everything, including how I've hurt you. The doorbell rang. Chloe, right on time. She took one look at my face and pulled out a bottle of wine. So, she said, settling onto the couch. Spill? Nothing to spill, just packing up Christmas. And therapy starts tomorrow. Emiliano cleared his throat. I should go. Stay, I said. Chloe should hear this too. He sat in the armchair, hands clasped. I've been thinking about what you said, about ghosts in our marriage. And you're right, I've been haunted by what could have been instead of building what is. He pulled out his phone. I blocked Ella's number, and my mother's. Chloe whistled. Serious business. It's not enough, I said quietly. I know. He stood up, pacing. That's why I asked for a transfer to the Seattle office. My head snapped up. What? We need a fresh start. away from my family, away from Ella, away from everything. But, he paused, only if you want to come with me. Chloe squeezed my hand. Breathe, girl. When? I managed. They need an answer by Friday. It's your call. My phone buzzed, a text from Marlo. Mom's freaking out because Uncle M blocked everyone, but I'm proud of him, of both of you. She's a good kid, Chloe said, reading over my shoulder. The only honest one in the bunch, I agreed. Emiliano moved closer. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to earn back your trust. In a new place, on your terms. Seattle's pretty far. That's the point. Chloe stood up. I'm going to raid your kitchen and give you two a minute. Once she left, I walked to our wedding photo, still hanging on the wall. Remember what you promised that day? To choose you, every day. And instead, I let everyone else make my choices. He touched the frame. I won't make that mistake again. How can I believe you? Because this time, I'm not just choosing you, I'm choosing us, even if it means losing everything else. The front door opened, Tricia, barging in without knocking one last time. This has gone far enough, she announced, blocking your own mother, moving across the country. I stepped forward. Get out. I will not. This is my son, who you've manipulated and controlled his entire life. I moved closer. But guess what? Game over. How dare you? No, how dare you? Emiliano's voice boomed, coming into our home, undermining my wife, orchestrating meetings with my ex. It stops now. Emmy, please. Don't call me that, and don't come back. We're done. After she left, crying theatrically, I turned to him. You really meant that? Every word. I walked to my desk, pulled out the Seattle transfer papers. Then let's do it. Yeah? Yeah, but first, I handed him divorce papers. Sign these. His face fell. Willow. Not to end things, to start over. New city, new marriage, new us, no ghosts. Understanding dawned on his face. He signed without hesitation. Chloe reappeared. So, what's the verdict? We're getting divorced, I said. And married again, Emiliano added. In Seattle, we finished together. My phone buzzed again. Marlo. Can I visit you guys in Seattle? Mom doesn't need to know. I showed Emiliano the text. He smiled. At least we'll have one family member worth keeping. Looking around our living room, at the half-packed Christmas decorations and the remnants of our old life, I felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness exactly, but possibility. You know, I said, picking up my grandmother's star, sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. No, it's refusal. Refusing to be small so others can feel big. Refusing to accept less than we deserve. Chloe raised her wine glass. To refusing to settle. To Seattle, Emiliano added. To starting over, I finished, looking at the man I'd chosen twice now, once in ignorance, once in truth. The star caught the light, sending prisms dancing across the walls. Like our future, fractured maybe, but still capable of creating something beautiful. Just on our terms this time.